So welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is today's trade. Today is July 14, 2026. Today is Tuesday. I took one longs even though my bias was short, and short played out beautifully later in the day, but I took longs. I took 3-hour trade, 5 points of risk, 15 points of profit off of VWAP. So let's get through the trade idea. Before that, let's come here on Discord and let's go to daily analysis, right? July 14, 2026. So what was I expecting for the day? On the daily, we have already taken previous day low. That's the only thing that kind of says bullish for me now. What am I saying? That's the only thing that kind of says bullish to me for now. I would need more confirmation to see if we're actually bullish. I would not mind if we're going towards that yearly first standard deviation again. What do I mean by that, right? That is the yearly first standard deviation high, right? We have already taken previous day low in overnight session, Asia, London, whatever, right? So if we had to be bullish, we would be bullish off of daily sweep. Pretty simple stuff. But I was not bullish today. I was bearish. So if we are bullish, I would need more confirmation. Okay, I can just long because of daily sweep, right? Make sense? Makes sense. 7-hour is losing quarterly VWAP. We have had London reversal. New York could continue towards quarterly first standard deviation low again. If bullish, I would need more confirmation. That is 7-hour time frame. That's quarterly VWAP. That is quarterly first standard deviation high. That is quarterly first standard deviation low. New York candle is this black candle. We were losing quarterly VWAP, right? So if we are losing quarterly VWAP, that would mean we'd be bearish, obviously, right? Right? So if we are bullish for some reason, for whatever reason, and I took longs, I would need more confirmation to see that, okay, this is just a wick down to maybe take this low and go higher or something. Okay, but I would need more confirmation, right? 30-minute is the one that led me to believe that we might be bearish. We have used weekly for standard deviation low as a reason to distribute lower as opposed to acceptance inside fair value. When we got back in fair value overnight, we have a failed auction. So I'd like to continue this trend and be bearish. So what do I mean by that? This is 30-minute time frame. That's weekly VWAP. That's weekly for standard deviation low. That's weekly for standard deviation high, right? We have used this weekly first standard deviation low as a reason to distribute lower, as you can see, right, in the overnight session, in the previous day, whatever. When we got back inside fair value, this price action is a fair auction, and we are accepting lower prices again, right? As you can see, all these wicks, and then that would mean we are not accepting fair value, right? We want to trade lower compared to it. So if for whatever reason we are to be bullish, I would need very, very good confirmation that we are bullish. If not, I want to use this trend to go lower, obviously, towards this quarterly first standard deviation low and monthly first standard deviation low. All right, 5-minute time frame. We are trading under session VWAP right now. I don't mind CPI taking us to weekly VWAP, take some of these internal highs and distribute lower, but look out for confirmation and footprint. Use weekly first standard deviation low / weekly VWAP as a reason to long short. I would much rather like to see shorts play out as it is path of least resistance. So what do I mean by that, right? We were right here when I was talking about that, right? To the head, we had CPI. So all I was saying was, I don't mind CPI going pumping higher, take these, these internal highs out, maybe test weekly VWAP or these monthly first standard deviation high, quarterly first standard deviation high, and then only distribute lower. Make sense? Pretty easy. CPI comes at 830, right? But I was still bearish for the New York session. Does that make sense? Pretty simple stuff. So if I go to TradingView chart right here, so why did I take longs right here? Right, even though I was bearish. Okay, let's go here for now. This is 30-minute time frame. I'll remove all of these for a second. This is 30-minute time frame, and this is that what do you call it? The data candle, the CPI candle, right? And as you can see, just like I predicted, it pumped higher to test this weekly VWAP, weekly first standard deviation high, and also take some of these random SIs, right? Did it take this? No, but it did definitely take this one, right? So if we were to be bullish, I want to see that this news is the one that brought us back to fair value, because as you can see, as I explained, we have been using this as a reason to distribute lower, and when we finally got inside fair value right here, we have a failed auction and we went lower again. So if we are bullish, right, I want to see more confirmation, right? So, and what happens? If I go back here on 1-minute time frame, See, that's news candle brought us inside fair value, right? You see this weekly for standard deviation low. If I have a proper footprint confirmation at weekly for standard deviation low, right, that would mean we don't want to trade lower compared to it, and we are back inside fair value. Make sense? Make sense? So market open somewhere here at 9:30. Pump down, test ETH session VWAP right here, and then on footprint, I see a good initiation. So I took it from here to the other side of fair value. Make sense? Make sense. So all I'm doing is looking at where price is accepting and going with the trend. That's it. Thank you so much. That's the video, right? And if I can, so on footprint right here, where is this the trade that I took? No, that's not it. Let me see somewhere here. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere here. Right here, yep. So if I can zoom in, you see market opens at 8:30. Hey, over here, we dump down. We have negative delta, negative delta. Over here, we have plus positive 52 delta, even though we went all the way up to 454, right? And then boom, 400 delta. All of these sellers are trapped, good initiation. This is ETS VWAP, over, what do you call it? Weekly first standard deviation low, right? Pretty good reasoning for us to go higher. So yeah, I took it here, stops of 5 point, targeted first standard deviation high, right? And we couldn't break it, and then we dumped down, test weekly first standard deviation low again, pumped higher. Price is just chopping around, nothing special. That's it. I want to see this data high get taken, but I don't know, maybe not today. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks so much.